Hi, I'm the Iowa Prairie Girl. Today I'm coming to you from my own prairie. You can see behind me parts of my little hobby prairie I have. It is the first week in September. It's actually Labor Day weekend 2021, and I don't have a lot blooming right now. The Indian grass and big blue stem are going strong, but I got some goldenrod, but otherwise not much going on. But what I want to talk to you tonight about is Indian pipe or ghost pipe. And I just want to show you where I'm at. So I was in my prairie, and then we have a little windbreak at the beginning of our prairie, and you can see it's mostly oak trees. And this was planted by seed in 2000, and so they're 21 years old. Oak trees are very slow growing, and they're about 12 to 15 feet tall. So it is a young stand of trees. Now, I'm going to show you some ghost pipe, which is a wildflower that came up. And just to give you a little prelude or a story to our ghost pipe, I'm going to show you where I'm going to go into. We're going to go into this stand of oak trees. I do have a large poplar tree there. It's a volunteer. And then this stand of oak trees. And then there's one tall tree standing up there. And in all truthfulness, I don't know what that is. It's a volunteer tree that grew there. But we're going to go into this little patch of oak trees here. And this is where we have our dog cemetery. We've lived here for a good 20 years. And over the course of 20 years, we have lost several Labradors to old age. However, 3 weeks ago, my teenage son's 9-month-old chocolate lab was hit by a car, and poor Ricky was buried here in our dog cemetery. And that was 3 weeks ago. A couple days ago, out walking with Prairie Dog, checked on the grave, and bewildered, surprised to find Indian pipe growing around Ricky's grave. So if you stick with me, we'll go into the dog cemetery here, and I'm going to show you some Indian pipe. Alright, so thanks for joining us in our dog cemetery. You can see we've got Ricky right here. My son made a very nice metal sign for him. He was a beautiful chocolate lab teenage puppy dog. Unfortunately got hit by a car. So as you can see, we have our grave here, and I'll have to tell you, I've never seen Indian pipe on my land ever before. Now, the reason I showed you where I was headed and what kind of trees we were going under, Indian pipe likes very dark, moist, canopy-like areas. So you're going to find them underneath big pine trees or forests where the ground is real dark and where there's a lot of decay, rotten trees or logs on the ground, stumps. Indian pipe is a perennial wildflower. It is not a mushroom. It's not a fungus. But it's quite unique. It's kind of a rare plant. You have to hunt to find them, or at least know where you're going to find them. And where I'm sitting right now is not a typical spot for Indian pipe to grow. Other than this tree right here, which I'm not sure what it is. This might be a beech tree. They do grow under beech trees and conifer trees. I did not find anything that said they grew a lot under oak trees. And they like places that are mature forests where there's a lot of organic material on the ground that's decomposing. They're white. They don't produce any chlorophyll. They don't do any photosynthesis. And what they do, if I can describe this correctly, is they feed off of or use the materials from the trees and from the fungus in the ground that's there from the decomposing organic material, and that's where they get their nutrition from, and then they just kind of pop up. They're not a fungus, they're not a mushroom, they are a wildflower. Now, I did hear a gentleman on a YouTube channel describe that they often will come up after you've had a really long dry period, and then you have rain for 3 or 4 days, and that did just recently happen. We've had a very dry summer here, and then just recently we've had a whole heck of a lot of rain. So I don't know if that's a coincidence, but it's really kind of fascinating, almost gives you goosebumps to think that we've never seen Indian pipe or ghost pipe here on my land. It's not a typical place where it should grow, but yet 3 weeks after we buried poor Ricky here, and maybe the disturbing, maybe digging up the soil or disturbing a little bit caused it, but as you can see, it's growing. There's one here, there's another cluster over there, another one here, and another one there. It's almost surrounding Ricky's grave in areas that we did not dig up. So I don't know how you want to describe that, but it's almost a little eerie, or I don't know. If you've ever read Where the Red Fern Grows, there's a story of a boy who had 2 hunting dogs that he was so very fond of, and they died defending him against a mountain lion. And he went to go check the grave before they moved out of the country, and there was red fern, which was a rare plant, growing on his dog's grave. And so very similar to that story, it feels like. I'm going to talk more about Indian pipe and what it looks like and all that kind of stuff, but while I'm still on talking about some Indian plant, I just want to talk about some of the symbolism that it has. One is that it's a symbol of peace. There's an Indian legend that there were 2 Indian chiefs that were arguing. They couldn't come to an agreement, and they smoked a peace pipe, and so therefore the Indian pipe plant is to show that we should live in peace with each other. Also, another Native American legend is that Indian pipe will come up wherever the ashes of an Indian peace pipe were scattered. Another symbol, and where did it go? Oh, there's another name for it for the plant, and that is that it's a corpse plant or a death plant, and I don't know if just because it's white and ghostly looking, but it also is a legend that the plant is said to heal the broken heart of those mourning for the loss of a loved one. Ricky was pretty special to us. It was pretty hard evening when he got hit by a car. I don't know. To heal the broken heart of those mourning for the loss of a loved one. That's pretty cool. All right, so enough about me sitting here next to this grave. I'm going to move the camera closer to the Indian pipe so we can look at what Indian pipe actually looks like. All right, so I've got the camera set up here so you can see the Indian pipe a little bit better. As you can see, it is a white plant. Again, this is a wildflower. It is not a mushroom. It's not a fungus. It's a wildflower. It's a perennial. It's white, almost a translucent color. Very, very fragile. These accidentally fell down, so I picked them up. Very, very white and ghostly looking. They can come in, you might find them in have a pinkish tinge to them, or they might even have kind of a gray or a purple kind of striping to them. And you can see here, these are starting to get some different colors to them. They turn black as they mature. Each flower or each plant is one stem, comes up with a terminal or a flower head at the end of the stem. When the plant first comes up, the flower head droops, and that gives it the name Indian pipe or pipe plant. As you can see, it does look like a pipe. So the flower droops when it is first blooms, and then after it gets pollinated, and it's pollinated by bumblebees, After it pollinates, the flower head will then become erect, and this one here, I don't know if you can see that, is starting to point up. And so it points up as it matures. And that's to hope that when it dries up and the seeds are in there, that they will get caught by the wind. You can look right into, as the flower head starts to come up, you can look right into the flower head, and there are 10 to 12 orangish yellow stamens, and one big, really stout style right in the middle. Now the leaves alternate up the plant, and the leaves are the same color as the stem. They are also a real translucent white, and they just almost are like clasping. They just alternate, stay very close to the stem. It almost looks like they don't have leaves, but those are the leaves right here. We have the leaf. I don't know if you can see that. The leaves are, they go up the stem. So Indian pipe they're a perennial, and they do spread by very small seeds. Each one of these flower heads will develop into 5 different capsules, and they'll have hold many tiny little seeds that will get dispersed in the wind. Each flower has between 4 to 5 white petals. So you can see these are petals. The plant gets to be anywhere between 3 to 9 inches tall. And I know I've already mentioned the flower head. It does look kind of like a bowl or a bell shape to it. Once you pick these, once you touch them, they will start to turn black. People do, I understand that once they dry, they are very kind of ornamental, and people do dry them and use them in dry flower arrangements. Some treatments that people use these for, eye washes. The Native Americans would take the juice from the stem, mix it with a little water, and drop it into the eye for an eye wash. It's also used for a painkiller, a sedative, and actually it's probably one of the first anti-anxieties that people have used. It's supposed to calm, has some very calming effects on people. People make it into tinctures and use it for nervousness. And actually, when I was trying to describe the relationship that the Indian pipe has between the trees and the organic substance on the ground, I did listen to one speaker who said that this kind of plant also kind of has a calming effect on the whole forest. It kind of takes up some of that extra energy that needs to be used and has a calming effect, or so he thinks, a calming effect on the forest. On that note, the other name for this plant is fairy smoke. You know how much I like fairies. All right, some say that it's toxic, some say that it's not. I have also read that people have cooked it and it tastes like asparagus. Again, this is not a foraging type video, so please don't take my word for that. All right. Well, so you can see how very awesome Indian pipe is. Let me see if I can come up with I got a few more names here. Corpse plant I mentioned, fairy smoke, ghost flower, ice plant, pipe plant. Lots of different names for this really cool plant. Like I said, this is not the normal place to find it. You're normally going to find it in a mature woods where there's a lot of organic material on the ground. It does not need sunlight. It can thrive in a very dark forest floor. It blooms for about 1 to 2 weeks. Blooming season is usually from June to September. So kind of late spring into fall, you might find Indian pipe while you're out on a walk. Again, found it here next to Ricky's grave. Was quite a surprise, actually a real treat. And as the legend says, it can help heal heal a broken heart. So this is Iowa Prairie Girl bringing you a story about Indian pipe, kind of a personal story about my dog cemetery here. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel and share my YouTube channels with others. And I hope that you get the opportunity to get out and explore. Maybe you'll find some Indian pipe. This is part of seeing the wonderful. Thanks for watching.